Happens here to Tronzo. Now, Tony Bloom's found a big hand on the button, made it 25.
Going all in.
Robert goes all in.
Yeah, just a combination of bad play.
But it's experience too. Probably after a few times he'll learn, and the next time you see him in a tournament like this,
we have a showdown.
He'll know what to do.
Gentlemen, turn them over.
Yeah, I mean, he's waited for the situation, and now
Robert
he's
shows ace 10.
3-1 against.
Tony Bloom shows ace king of hearts, suited.
Suited?
Yeah, suited.
Suited.
Okay.
That's like 2.5%. I wish I knew the odds though.
The flop comes
Well,
10.
now he's going to get lucky.
Jack, no hearts.
That's amazing.
Tony needs a queen
But
for a
do you
straight.
find that that's typical, Tony, that some people, they'll play very tight on the button, on the bubble, excuse me, then they get desperate, and then by the time they get their money in,
It's a 6 of
Yeah,
hearts.
it happens.
They're
No help for
behind.
Tony Bloom.
They're behind by the time they get the money in, or they get their money in and they get unlucky, or they get their money in 3 times and they get unlucky once. So yeah, it's a very, very
But
hard
I'm
game.
sure this guy
Robert
points all he can
doubles
play
up.
poker. He's just inexperienced. Hasn't been like the first few times. If you're not experienced, you don't know what to do. But he'll find out.
He got lucky now, so he's back
Yeah,
in business.
he's back in business. But
Good for me. I don't want it to end.
I hope he
I like
learns.
these
Yeah,
players.
he's taking the chip.
and Tony Bloom crippled there. I mean, did he do anything wrong?
No, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he played great. I mean, he's a great player. Just bad luck. He lost
It's
that
poker.
hand.
It can go
Big
either way.
favourite, unlucky. That's it. That's all you can say.
Well, now Tony Bloom has a short stack in this particular bubble, and you know he's not going to sit back. Let's see what happened to him just a few hands later in the small blind. He's already doubled up twice, and I think it's going to be folded around to him. Do you sometimes think when people get down to the bubble, they think there's only one more player to go, so I just have to sit there? But it always goes on longer than you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, because people are
Yeah, and
extra
especially in this
careful
one,
and
when there's one table. Normally, in bigger tournaments, the bubble is more tables, so someone can bust anywhere. But if you're the shortest on the table, and it's only your table, you have to get busy, otherwise.
this is a correct play from
Raised
Tony
all
Bloom.
in.
It's easy. Probably the best hand. And this must be a call by Robert. I mean, you just must call. You cannot fold that hand.
They have about the same stacks. I think Tronzo has a little bit more.
Yeah, but seen his play before, I don't know. He has a little chips again, and he's probably doesn't want to risk it.
Not at all.
But maybe you learn. Maybe he knows that it has to make a stand.
Is Tony expecting a fold here?
Tony's hoping for a fold. Now he's worried that the guy is thinking so
Yeah.
long, and
Because he knows the guy is tight.
I think he'll
But
call
the guy
him.
should know that
He should
Tony's
call
going
him.
in with any hands. But I think he's going to fold. Let's see what he does.
I mean, he's sitting there, he's thinking about it. It's more money than he's ever thought about in his life, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's been folding sevens. He called with ace 10 and he saw he was way behind, so I think he's folding the ace 9.
What's it?
Which is the wrong play, but it's just the way he's been playing.
No.
7-6.
You got his number, so
I can't get it out of my head. I'm thinking. It's
And what if a guy like Tronzo is sitting at ace 9, he calls and finds out Tony has ace king again?
no, whatever. At least you're playing for a big pot, and you thought you were ahead.
You got to play to
Mathematically, you
win.
made a good play, but if they keep finding ace king, one chance, what you gonna do? You know, you're not gonna win then.
But just being too tight, giving yourself no chance.
Like me or Tony would have moved our chips in with ace 9 in 1 second. Because we know this game how it's going. Tony, there you go.
It's
You
just
got an
terrible play.
ugly-looking hand.
Is that pretty much the signal there that he is not here to win the tournament?
Yeah, he's not here to win. He's not
Yeah,
interested. He's just hoping to make
But I
the
think he's a
final.
little inexperienced with the bubble, with people moving in with anything, because, well, he's still in.
That's what bad poker's all about.
I
is
mean,
demonstrating it.
As far as this bubble has been concerned, the incredible thing is he actually got very good cards, Tronzo, during this bubble. Tony, you haven't picked up anything yet, and yet you've increased your stack.
Yeah, well, he's playing bad poker. I mean, he's folding best hands. He's playing the worst hands. He's getting lucky when he has the worst hands. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, he's got no chance to do any good in this tournament.
All right, well, let's see how this bubble finishes up. This is the last hand. This is where the bubble breaks here, and it's Liam Flood in the small blind against Tony Bloom.
70.
Raised to 70,000 total.
And blinds are 10 and
Wow.
I don't
That
believe in
is
Father
serious.
Christmas anymore.
That
Blinds
is
are 10 and
You
20
want
now.
to set me in here?
wow. That even make my heart.
Oh, they're 7 and 15. That's a very big raise. Why is Liam raised so much?
He doesn't want any action.
He wants to show a message that if Tony wants to play, Liam's in there too.
Tony should be
Liam
folding this hand because Liam's a tight player and
Yeah.
you know you're behind. Liam's very likely to have an ace. The big raise is indicating that he has an ace.
But Tony has a lot of chips in there, so maybe he's like, let's go for it.
They put him on the clock. I think he ends up,
Call.
he does call here. Doesn't leave himself very many chips at all.
Yeah, he's going with it.
And Tony, you think this is a call that's a little bit reckless?
Yeah, this is a bad
like
play.
he's lucky he has 2 live cards, but
Raising with his hand, moving all in is fine, and Liam would drop ace 5 if he got raised
Just
first.
70 we need.
But the other
That's
way
it,
around,
that's
this is terrible play. I mean,
17.
I don't like it, and I'm a big fan of Tony Bloom.
You sure?
I make these sort
40,
of mistakes all the time
50,
too, so I'm not.
60,
I like it.
70.
There's a lot of chips in there. He's playing for a huge pot. He's coming to win. You know, if he wins
Liam,
this
get
pot,
all
he's
in on
back
the
in it
blind.
to win the whole tournament. He's not sitting there like seat 4 to make the money.
Oh, we still had chips. I mean.
Yeah, Liam's gone all in the dark.
Comes king.
That's a pretty good flop for.
You can't get any better than that.
Tony calls. Tony Bloom shows. King 7 of hearts. Liam Flood shows. Ace 5. Tony Bloom has hit the front.
Tony is liking it,
In a major way.
86% here.
but still 3 aces left in there.
Wow. This
Yeah, I know.
Good
Turn is an ace.
Oh,
Liam Flood goes to the
That's
front.
called ace from space.
ace from space.
Called
Tony.
ace from
Yeah.
space.
Wow, what a flop and what a turn.
Yeah. And, I mean, it is a bad beat, but, Tony, you think that after Tony Bloom played great for most of the time, he really has nobody to blame but himself?
Oh yeah, that's a terrible mistake right there. And you're putting all your money in with a hand that's not, you know, is beat. You're calling, and you've got a very weak player right next to you that just wants to wait for tomorrow. So just pick on him. Pick on him.
Yeah, but it's not like you're going to give him a chance. You'll always be raising.
Well, Liam and Flood, there's 2 players that are very tight, and you know.
You obviously don't need good cards to increase your stack on the bubble, but you need good situations.
Yeah, good situations. Poker is all about putting yourself in.
You need to
good
be
situations.
stealing. You need to get in there. You need to get a little lucky, but you never even have to see a flop to go from a low stack to chip leader.
Well, we learned a lot from watching Tony G on the bubble. You don't need good cards to increase your stack. You can't be scared to get knocked out. And be aggressive now to make your money for the final. Coming up next, more bubble play, some crazy situations there. Welcome back. We're here getting secrets revealed from Tony G and Noah Buchan talking about the bubble. There's a lot of really different bubble situations you can get into. And is a lot of it about feeling out the mindset of your opponents?
Well, you've been playing with your opponents all day, probably, or you might have just been moved to the table, but it's really important to know how they play, who's the guy who wants to make the money, who's the tight guy, who's the weak guy, who's the guy who's going to call you with a Jack-10 because he doesn't really care. You all have to keep that in account when you're stealing and when you're raising their blinds. So it's really important to really watch the table and know what your opponents are thinking.
Let's have a look at how Yanni Sointula plays the bubble. A very similar situation. 4 players left and only 3 make the money. Yanni in the big blind. And the blinds are quite low here, just 2 and 4,000. And what do you do